The biggest challenge and the struggle, I think, was that when you start to realize that you are so out of experience. So everything started with our own problem because we've been forming big teams. We have lots of manual work to do, lots of resumes, and reality was that we were always late in terms of hiring new people. And this somehow became as an inspiration to change this thing on our own. We are changing the recruiting.
Hi, Iako.
Hi, Matt.
Thank you so much for coming to the life of Founder. How's it going?
Fine, thank you. Thanks for inviting.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for your time today. As we start, would you like to give an intro to yourself? Where do you come from? How it all started?
Yes, with the pleasure. So I am Iako. I am co-founder of the startup Helio.Ai. And we are based in Georgia, and we are changing the recruiting. So everything started with our own problem because we've been forming big teams and we have lots of manual work to do, lots of resumes. And reality was that we were always late in terms of hiring new people. And this somehow became as an inspiration to change this thing on our own. We talked with each other, we've been working each other, our all co-founders, and this is how everything started.
How difficult was to make this decision? What I'm trying to say is defining a problem and trying to sort it out, finding a solution is one thing, but taking the part to be a founder, having the problem becoming your life, because this is what is going to happen, it's another story. What really was the motivation behind, okay, I'm going to be an entrepreneur for the rest, I hope, of my life. So I'm taking a path which is extremely, extremely challenging.
Yeah, that's a tough question because I think it's not only about the environment and it's not only about the problem, but like something about your personality and something what you want to do. Because if you want a steady life, being like stable, etc., I think you are not going to be founder because it's a tough way. And the biggest
Yeah.
motivation probably is the finding people who thinks like you, who wants to change something, who has the ambitions and sees the certain problem. And if this everything happens together, then I think it's easy to make decision because like it just you just have to push the button and that's it.
That's correct. How was the feeling? I mean, how do you feel when you started? Excited? Scared?
I would say that excited because we would definitely be scared if we knew what was the path because like you see all the difficulties step by step. It's not that clear when you start. There was lots of excitement. Yeah, somehow we were ready to face some challenges, but you know, I think the start is so much important because then you have motivation. Then you say that so many things are changing day to day, and you are in action, and then kind of everything comes together by itself. But the starting to like put these first steps, it's important. It was exciting, definitely.
As you said, you don't know what I'm going through.
Yeah.
Are you a first founder?
Yes.
That's why. I've been talking, I think, without any form of exaggeration, to 2, 3, 4,000 founders the last five years of my life. And the point is, founders, they understand. I mean, let me rephrase. When you go to all these events, okay, all this kind of stuff, you try to see the beauty of your founder, okay, the glamour, all this kind of nice stuff, but they're not the reality. So behind it's a huge struggle. You can't pay the bills, you can't pay your employees, you don't have enough money, you can't find investors. It's a very, very annoying process, very tiring. It's extremely stressful. Founders is very easy to burn out today
Yeah.
because of the stress. So it's a beautiful part. I'm 5 times founder, so I know very well what means the pain to be a founder. But sometimes I always tell to the founder, try to be yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Me, try to be honest. And the challenge is there. We stay there for a while. Even if you start making revenue, you're still there. It's a long process, a very long one. But where do you find what was the very difficult part when you started? What do you find the most difficult to deliver?
I think it's somehow connected to the previous question because, as you mentioned, like when we hear and see all these beautiful stories, this is a good part somehow, but it's bad at the same time because we are waiting that everything's gonna be like pinky and easy, etc. So the biggest challenge and the struggle, I think, was that when you start to realize that you are so out of experience, you meet with the people and you realize that this is startup and nothing is working as it used to be in the big organizations or something like that.
Yeah.
And to grow, somehow you have to admit that I am stupid at this stage. I need to learn everything from scratch. And somehow this is painful because you've been working on yourself for years, but now you feel that you have to change. But I think from this point we start to develop like new yourself is burning as a founder.
You had to.
Yeah.
There is nothing to do. It's not like you believe would be okay. Many things must be changed. You need to adapt. I mean, the beauty of the founder, you have to cover all aspects of your company. You must even clean probably and then the day your office. So it's a different story. It's a different process. There are no process at all. You must create all of them from the very beginning. So the level of competence to be a founder is very high, and it's like having a master, but much, much, much more intensive. What about your work-life balance? How be a founder impacted your life in a good and a bad way?
I would say that a good way because work-life balance is like mysterious naming, I think, because like startup became a part of our life as well, and you can't really divide it like as a work and as a life because like we live with this. It's a part of our day-to-day routine, etc. But it should not, as I see right now, it should not be something that takes you away from the family or something like that because you are a human being. You need to rest, you need restart. And this is one of our challenge because at the early stage you have like lots of unsleepy nights and somehow you need to be in a few places at the same time. But I would not divide as a work and a life. I mean, it's our life, definitely it is.
It will be for long.
Yeah.
What's your typical day-to-day routine? Do you have any?
Yes, it's sales talking to the customers and then sales and talking to the customers again. The whole day goes with this routine, I think. The most of the time, this is where we spend um, because like we want to do lots of things on our own as we are on an early stage and we don't want to lose those feelings. So like we are doing some stand-ups to like warm up in the morning and be in shape. Normally, as we see in startup life, there is no routine. Like you have to do the new things every day and you plan, but it's not how it goes on the next day because, wow, you are called in the event or you have an urgent meeting or something new happens or you have bugs. So it's not easy to plan the next day.
During this time, since you started, have you ever thought, I'm having not enough skills, I'm not qualified enough to get this done? Do you have doubts sometimes?
Yes, sometimes it happens. Sometimes you think like that. Sometimes environment tells you that because you're not qualified. but probably the main part is that what's our reaction to that? I mean, if we stop and believe that yes, we are not qualified, that's not a good stuff. Yeah, for us, for our team, in lots of cases, this becomes the fact that okay, give me some time, I'll show you. So this works for us.
That's the good attitude.
Yeah,
You can always learn.
sure.
What actually is very difficult to learn is the attitude. But if you have the right attitude in life, you can learn whatever you want. What do you like to do the most in your day to day, right? You like, I understand you sail, but there is any task in your daily life as a founder that you really like?
We really enjoy with the negotiating with the customers. This would not be answer when we started, because probably it seemed that you have to learn how to talk with them. And once you learn, then the joy and the pleasure comes, because you feel what they need and you have a better guessing. And in lots of cases, you get good feedbacks and like they are loving what you do. And this is really important to differentiate what they love and what they need to improve, what you have to change. So I mean, this journey is a really big pleasure. uh, if you can't take the pleasure out of the smallest situations, it's hard to survive in startup, because here it's always big shifts. In some day you are super happy, in some day you are super down. uh, but you realize that this is part of it. You even enjoy sometimes when you fail, because on the other day you're gonna stand up and get to work.
It's up and down, highs and lows. This is how it works in startup. It is for a while, for months and not days. It's a pure marathon, so you need to be prepared to run a marathon. It has nothing to do with a sprint to be a founder and running a startup. How do you keep yourself motivated and self-confident, and very much resilient? Because these are things that matters any founder.
The most important part is, I think, in the team, because somehow we keep ourselves motivated, because we are four co-founders and not for all of us is always on a good mood or feels up. And when you are down and you see that three other people are doing great job, it somehow gives you situation that I don't have right to be down sitting here and I have to act. In some day, then you are up and someone is down, but generally, like, we encourage each other, and this is important part, because you can't always rely on the facts which is outside of our team, etc. So like I'm happy to be with them. It's a super important.
What's your relationship with failure? By failure, I mean shutting down your company, which is the drastic failure. Are you scared?
No, because I think the most important is what we call failure. Because if we think that what we started to build, this is something which we don't change, the failure can be really close. But our mindset is looking that we see problem, which is definitely can't disappear in a days, and we just have to find the right spot. And we don't see failure there, because we're a good team. If something does not work, now we will shift, we will pivot, we will make it. So I would not say that we are not afraid of failure. No.
You must not be. I believe we should be carefully considering failure in terms that you always learn from failing in life. So as long as you learn, as you said, you can pivot, you can restart. It's not going to be the problem.
Yep, definitely.
You must never be scared. How does it look like your life outside working? What do you do in your spare time?
Well, I've been a tennis player, so I really enjoy going back to court, because for me, like, tennis and the game and the startup and the business itself really looks like each other. So you have to think, you have to act, you have to be active, and I really do that things. I love to play and exercise. I mean, I meet with the friends, and do the stuff whatever I want. I don't limit myself.
You must have some spare time. It's very important to keep your balance in life
Yeah,
and keep going.
thank you.
Keep going. Do you go to this? Do you participate to the tech ecosystem, events, all this kind of stuff? Do you like to go slash web summit, wherever they are?
Yeah, we do. And we do it really active. We've been at the Web Summit as well. We've been chosen in the short list. We pitched on the stage. This is big pleasure for us. And four of us, all of us are pitching and all of us are participating in different events simultaneously. We are like divided. You go on tech, I go on all the social, etc. I think in the startup, if you can't enjoy with that process, it gets you tired because there's so many stages and so many situations when you have to talk with the people from the stage, etc. We do it really actively and we really enjoy it.
But what's your take? Do you think the startup ecosystem as a whole is doing enough to improve this world in a real way and not with just statements and talks?
I would say it depends on events because we've been participating event which gives not really a lot of things. Maybe you just work on yourself. But generally, communicating is really, really important because we started to realize that not a lot of months ago. Because when you meet these people, you even don't know what kind of possibility is coming to you, and even we never resist to help someone. And then someone helps us. And in this ecosystem, it's so important to share our knowledge, our experience, because even when we are in the same field, maybe someone is doing HR tech or something like that, we try to speak with them honestly, openly, because maybe we have something to share for each other. Maybe we can give some services to them and they can give some services to us, because world is so big, it's not always about competition. So yeah, it's important.
If you are in a round table with world leaders, right, and you can make some change into all this mess around the world, things that really simply they do not work. So what would you like to change today? I'm not talking about tech. I'm talking about everything that comes to this life.
That's not the easy one. Maybe we just need to start to understand each other's situation and not always push to prove our right or prove that you are wrong. We just have to listen. I think if we listen to each other, then everything really, really listen to understand and not to speak, then I think everything goes in a better way.
Actually, we don't listen each other at all. We, the majority of people talk. I do believe listening, that's something that belongs to very few in this world. And everyone likes to talk, and just few understand that what is best in life is listening and talking as less as you can. Yeah, you're right. This is something big. I would love one day to see the majority of people listening and just few talk, but I'm not sure it's going to happen. That's a kind of dream.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
There's a friend of mine who told me the day when I understood that I had to talk only when matters, I'm almost mute. I never talk because there's nothing to say.
Yeah, exactly. If you really listen, it becomes like this.
Are you concerned about climate change?
Yes, I think everybody should be concerned because this is something that we may don't experience on ourselves yet, but it can have the worst impact on our life, on our earth. And if we don't take care right now, I think we are so close to some bad things. And I would just encourage all to take care about that and just to understand and the same listen what the people and what the professionals are talking about, what's the risks and what's our role personally to stop this.
Yeah, there are so many big talks, big talks. Action is very little. You're right. It's there. There is nothing to do. Sometimes I do believe it's already too late
Yeah.
to do something very effective that can change things. But anyway, which are the things in life that really matters you, they touch you to the point, I mean, that you are willing to fight?
Probably the facts when people are setting us apart as someone who can do something and someone who can't, someone who is capable of doing this thing and someone not. Maybe it's about gender, age, or any other things. It does not matter, but all these facts. Encourage you to like fight to prove that this is not how world should work, because every human being has a right to show their best and show their unique results, what they can create and what the benefit they can bring to this world. So that's the important one.
Do you believe the world has changed? Are we ready to accept any form of people? Because I don't think so. There is so much still. People reject each other a lot.
Yeah, but if we don't, I believe that all the action starts with the steps, even the smallest. So the fact is that, yeah, I agree, but we should make those steps. It's our responsibility. And then someone sees you and do the same. And then we became the bigger community. And I believe that world can change. If we don't believe that, then all our actions are nonsense. So we should fight for that. Yeah.
Do you like reading?
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't say the favorite author because the reading in my life is like that. When I face a certain challenge, then I read around that part. So it always changes and it can be any genre. Uh, for example, the latest book was Inner Game of Tennis. It's roughly about the tennis, but it's about business and it's about the mindset, how your mindset stops you and keeps you away from winning. And this book became a good one for startup and being founder because, as I mentioned, being in sport and being in startup and business, it really looks each other. So I really enjoyed because you feel the full new information and full new inspirations and the lines between those facts.
It's very common to see people now using audio books. Do you like them?
I wouldn't say that I enjoy that because maybe it's because of my memory. I have to see something to memorize, and I enjoy to make some notes with a pencil. And when I listen to the audiobooks, it just goes in my ear and leaves my head really soon. So I enjoy reading and like touching with the papers. For me, it's much more pleasure.
What about moving? Do you watch any films?
Sometimes I wouldn't say that I am big movie lover. Sometimes, and there is one movie in Georgia which is famous, but probably world does not know. It's about two men who are creating some machine which should fly, and everybody talks to them that it's not possible. They even put there in the jail, and then on the last day they fly. So that's my favorite movie because mm, somehow I see myself there that we can fly and people want to stop us, but no, we can do it.
You've been already through a lot in life. You have found there which gives you so much to do every day and learning. Your learning curve is very, very high. So what's today? If today you can stop, right? Watch back. What's the best lesson that life gave to you so far?
Probably ending my tennis career because it happened because of injury. It was not my decision. And it was the fact that I could not understand if my life could be without tennis. But then you face the fact that you have to build yourself from scratch. And when you've been through once in this, then you realize that you can do it how many times you want, it becomes easier. You are not stuck to the things, you are not stuck to the facts. You are a human being and you can always move forward and stand up. I think that experience for me was the crucial.
But for many people, it's so difficult. I mean, for many people, when you've been doing that's why be a founder is very nice because you do things from scratch. And if it ends, you start again. But there are so many people that really like routine. So if I've been doing this for 20 years, actually, I don't want to change because I'm scared to change. Or if I do believe I should be a tennis player or football player and my career stops, what's going to happen to me? I will become miserable. That's the many of them that had this approach to life.
Yeah, that's a tough situation, but I think all the good things happen after the difficult situations. I really believe that because we don't have to expect like the perfect things just doing nothing and not pushing ourselves. I think on my experience, it does not happen. I don't know how it happens with the others, but it was not with my life. So in lots of cases, we think that somehow we have to be super ready to do something. We have to be super ready to change something. I think it's vice versa. We don't have to be ready. We just need decision, and then we will get ready step by step. I mean, it's okay to start as a zero, as a non-experienced. It's okay.
It will come by itself.
Yeah.
There is nothing. What's your greatest wish? What you wish it was the most for you, for your life, for the world, for example, as a whole?
With my life, I'm not sure what I would wish. I would say that somehow I feel in the flow. I enjoy with my day. Like I'm not planning my life after 50 years or something like that. I just want that make the most out of my out of myself and don't lose this motivation and don't lose this energy to like create something. I think that's important. It does not really matter in the end what we do. So we have like motivation to change some big things, change recording, change different things. It does not matter. I don't want to lose this faith and motivation, and probably would suggest the world the same as well, because we are humans and we are created to create something, and we don't have to stop this. We have to create good things for the world, for ourselves, surrounding, and for everything.
I mean, I do believe motivation is not an easy task. An easy task. Uh, Keep yourself motivated. It's very hard for many, and that's pretty normal. But building a legacy, I do believe the best things we can do in life, and each of us should leave something good when we leave one day because that's the journey. One day we finish, so we should leave a legacy for the others coming after. This is, I do believe so, and living the life just for the sake of living is not enough, at least for me.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, totally. And inspire others as well. Yeah.
Let me close with a recommendation. If you can recommend anything to the founders watching this podcast, what do you like to tell them?
It's not easy to say something new because, like, our internet is full of recommendations, and all of them seems to be, mostly all of them seems to be right somehow. But as I mentioned in the previous question, I always say that start before you are ready. It's okay if you don't feel so. If you want it, just go for it, and then everything will come.
Jakob, thank you so much for coming to the Life of Founder. It's been a great pleasure for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure for me as well.